Yo, what's up, good people? I hope you're all doing well out there. I have a voice again, as you can hear. Or at least if this mic is on, you can hear. My head is still very much full of a whole bunch of snot. So I'm not sure I'm actually hearing all of the things. So I definitely don't want to give anyone feedback today. Is the pain completely gone? Yeah, like the pain in my jaw and my teeth, and I'm used to pain up in here anyway because I've got TMJ, but it doesn't flare up too often. But this was just like, there's just so much pressure. Like, oh yeah, just the amount of, it felt like I had growing pains in my legs again. It was just a wicked, wicked illness. Back in health, like, most of the way. Most of the way. I'm not going to push myself too hard today. I've been working each day. I've just been trying to not apply myself quite as hard as I normally do, so I can heal by the weekend. So I'm going to the coast. Bunch. Welcome in. Saffron, thank you so much. Dude, 21 months, man. 21 months. Wow. Thank you. You want a pet gazelle. Man, especially if they scream like that, right? You can just imagine if your pet gazelle screams like that when the sun comes up in the morning or something. Paul's tuning in from sunny Maryland. It is it's pretty nice here in Portland. It is it's a nice balance of white and blue up there in the sky. Doing all right. I think it's going to be nice temperature-wise today, too. Numbered Angels, welcome in. Nice to hear there's sun in more than one location today. So wait. Saf, are we to understand you correctly? You are wanting a gazelle that sounds like a normal gazelle? Hey, Jewel. Welcome in. Numbered Angels. Hey, Zaris is here. Rick Zaris is in the room. Everybody give this man some love. Great. How are you today, homie? Numbered Angels. No feedback today. I'm recovering from being sick, and I'm like completely full of snot up here, and I don't think you want me judging your music and sounds today, because it's probably not going to be at the level of greatness that you've come to expect. I'm doing right. I'm doing all right. I'm healing after back to back colds. Got a 5-year-old, you know, so freaking every virus in the neighborhood rolls through here. Numbered Angels, that said, do hit the Discord. Drink some whiskey, right? Whiskey for breakfast. Hit the Discord. You can drop stuff in there for feedback, even when it's not Feedback Friday. Wanted. Gazelle with recording experience. Prefer candidates who also speak. Oi! What is up, TJ and Paracol? Zaris can speak cat. Of course you can speak cat. Ah, of course you can. I'm not surprised by this. Alright, so I'm trying to do better at this. Today's patch, I think, is available on the Reactor Community Library. Generative Ambience, April 6th, 2018. And I've tweaked it. Just to fit the mood a bit more of what today's stream will be. And I think that today's stream will be some Dark Ambient stuff, because we started talking about Dark Ambient, and now I'm feeling like maybe making some Dark Ambient. So there you have it. So I think what we'll do is we'll take a look at some alternative synthesis toys, and just kind of talk through like mutating and transforming some fairly common sounds into some really awesome soundscapes that can be mixed with synths in cool ways. So let's do that. For full disclosure, let's just do what we did in the last stream, where I load up this same exact patch. And we'll do a quick A/B for those that want to check it out. Again, it is called Generative Ambience, April 6th, 2018. I believe it's one that you can just grab in the Reaktor Community Library. It sounds like this when you open it. Thank you, Rick. I'll show you how I made that right now. So, as with all of the intro stream music lately, these are all like freely accessible. That's what it sounds like when you first open it up. And if you want something a little darker and perhaps mysterious, drop the BPM to 68 and the gate to 8th. Eighth note. I quantized the output of the notes of these oscillators to an E minor, and I dropped the tuning of the oscillators an octave down across the board. I knocked back the delay and the reverb quite a bit, and then I ran it through portal and phase distortion and some reverb, some more distortion, and some granular delay. So I'm going to take those off one at a time so you can actually hear what this is sounding like. There goes the bit crusher. There goes the phase distortion. There goes the reverb. Okay, Harden, welcome in. Happy hump day to you. Here goes the other layer of saturation. And here goes the granular delay. So typical, fairly heavy delay, generative ambience, somewhere between a sine and a square. They're all kind of blurred together. Recluse, welcome in, dude. How are you? Nanowires, what's up, dude? Jafar. Okay, well, maybe this is not something that is found on the store or on the Reaktor user library, so I'll post it to the Discord. I don't think I made this one, which is why I was thinking that it came from the community. Just find it really quick. Alright, so it's going to be in here and here. Inez. Hi, Inez. Welcome in. Happy Friday. And this is, this one. Generative Ambience, April 6, 2018. Let's go stick this somewhere. Yo, what up, Sarm? All right, so that was in. And it's. Oh, it's way too big to put up here. So I'll link to it then, I guess. Give me just a sec. We can handle doing this. We can multitask. I think. Yeah, I can. All right, so let's say this. How many other people are playing around with the same reactor patches after the streams? Or during the streams? I'll get the link up there as soon as this is done uploading. We still got a couple minutes on it. I should probably make something, huh? Paul, I'm just catching up with the chat really quick. It says 8-track sample player with lots of playback probability. Fed it sacred, trinkets, and gold samples, and let it dine for 14 minutes. Ooh. Let's do. I would not mind playing around with that stuff. Good luck out there, Paul. All right, cool. So I'm going to turn this off. And let's start making something. I think going back into reaktor is probably a good idea. I'm going to do that. And let's go into maybe we'll start with well, you know, I was going to start with a metaphysical, but maybe what we'll do is we'll go into like a branch of metaphysical. Let's see. Ooh, is it this one? This one has. Yeah, this one's got metaphysical built in. Let's start with this one. All right, so we're going to turn this off. And let's open up the sample map here. And let's take out all of these bleeps and bloops that he's got in here. I mean, I like bleeps and bloops, but let's grab something different. And yeah, we're going to remove these. Now let's just grab a combination of things. Let's grab like maybe some dialogue. Let's grab some interesting dialogue. And yeah, Zaris, if you've never actually really used Reactor, hold on tight. Yes, yeah, Javar. Yeah, you know what you can do to get started is use some of the sequencers that are included in the Reactor library, and then use those to control the output of some of the synths that you're already really comfortable with, and kind of get the hang of the types of parameters that you're tweaking inside of those different ensembles. And then that's going to give you what you need to like launch off from there into the stuff in the user library without having to like really break flow of like the creative flow, because you'll be more familiar with the types of levers and pulleys. You know, you know. All right, so I'm going to me. Let's do some. Oh, you know, it'd be fun in here is some Santa. Is that not in here? Just move that really quick. Let's do some Santa versus the Martians in there or something. And and we'll maybe play with like some uh not like a dungeon, but maybe like a dark, dank, kind of metallic, echoey kind of space in the background with some weird twisted vocal or dialogue on top. That sounds kind of. All right, so this was around the holidays. There we go. All right, I got to move this. All right, cool. Now I won't have to go looking for it all the time. And how many are in here? 250. So maybe I'll just make one of these just dialogue. And we need 128. So well, I do some of those. If we can, but come on. Okay, 128. So we're going to drop these into the sample map inside of Reactor. Back there. Not sure why it looks like drop all of them. Try that again. Ah. All right, there we go. Now let's try that again. That looks more right. All right, so now we've got 128 new samples in there, and I'm just going to click on one of these and select all, and this is super important. This is super important. Don't skip this step. We're doing this with metaphysical function or any of the sample map based, especially generative stuff, um, or anything that you want to oscillate or loop inside of Reactor. Go into the waveform tab once everything is selected and click this little loop checkbox. That's super important. Your sample doesn't just stop. That really hangs up a lot of people. Such an easy fix. And Reactor is so worth your time. So might as well call out these little details. All right, so I'm going to set up a capture track here. Make sure that's a stereo and set the output. Us on our software track, and we're going to use that as the back. Arm it. And let's just start listening. See what our new samples are getting out here. That's what there is. That's what we've just found. Let's add more. Let's write in a new. So each one of these little vertical boxes here is automation. We're just cycling through different positions here. This is pitch modulation up here, and we're serving up a single tone from these individual oscillators here in these different banks. And this is our dialogue sample being served up. Merry Christmas. So you can get pretty out there with this thing pretty quickly, right? some pretty weird, wild stuff in there. This is saying I had to use sleep spray. I might record that. That's a pretty interesting thing right there. Oh my goodness. Sorry in advance for all of the coughing. Hi, Javar. Zamerits. What's up, dude? Alright, so this one is pretty interesting. What if we actually feed this back quite a bit more? Making in some noise and some little bit of synthetic tone in there. And this is going to kind of stitch this all together here. Let's record some stuff. I have no idea where this is going. Hey, 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 Andremia! What's going on? Andremia, I saw I had a DM from you right as I was firing up the stream. We'll check that out. And Saf, I saw you in my inbox as well. I was playing a little bit of catch up. Alright, that's enough to get a decent loop out of. Let's maybe do one more weird little thing. Wow. That wasn't very nice. Let's find something So. Let's turn these off. Don't need all of that. Okay, let's find the sample we actually want. Hold that right there.
Hamburger, buttered asparagus, mashed potatoes, and a special treat for them. Chocolate layer cake pills, yep, hamburger, buttered asparagus, mashed potatoes, and a special treat for them. Chocolate layer cake pills, yep, hamburger, buttered asparagus, mashed potatoes, and a special treat for them. Chocolate layer cake pills.
I can't help myself. We're gonna put this one in there somehow. It's just this one. This one.
Buttered asparagus, mashed potatoes, and a special treat for them. Chocolate layer cake pills. Yep, hamburger, buttered asparagus, mashed potatoes, and a special treat.
Andromia, I like SonarWorks and the stuff they make. I'm not familiar with Sound ID yet. Oh no, wait, that's what they've rebranded their like environment balancing software thing, right? I have an earlier version of that. It's pretty impressive in its earlier state, so I'd imagine that it's probably pretty good.
Chocolate layer cake pills, yep, hamburger,
They're cool guys too.
buttered asparagus, mashed potatoes, and a special treat for them. Chocolate layer cake filled hamburger,
Oh man, this is just like, this is 90s right here.
mashed potatoes, and a special treat for them. Chocolate layer cake filled
All right,
hamburger.
let's stop that. All right, so let's make something out of those little elements there, and we're gonna bring in just some regular samples and put them into the timeline, and then we'll bring in a couple of other sounds and start mixing them up in a synth. Zaris, take care, homie. Ooh, yeah, is anyone working on anything good? If so, what is it that you're working on? And what are you loving about it? I'm gonna go here and grab something. Some doors. That's a good idea. Some metal doors. That's pretty big. That's pretty big. You know, if we were to just take one of these and let's just toss a stretch algorithm. Let's do a speed. Just gonna drag this out a bit. And this will be pretty massive. Take out these subs. Fair degree, and we're going to put a meter on the out so we can actually see the effect of that for our LUFs. And see where we are. We're still pretty rumbly under 30. So if we change our dB per octave curve, we'll see that stuff roll up. So this still has a fair bit of energy down here. And it's really hard to hear, of course. So we'll just saturate that so we can do something really simple like some bit crush. Give us that sense of that really deep down, kind of underground presence. And we'll mix that into. We'll send that out to. And so on this channel, we'll make that mono sound into a stereo sound. And we'll put this into a big hall. Yeah, we're gonna take out the lows, a fair bit of that. So we're not inundating the sides. Take the low out of the sides in our spread. Well, okay, so now we've got this kind of low end presence there. Let's just see where we are with our EQ on that channel. So this is just the reverberated channel. So we're going to start gathering a whole bunch of kind of atmospheric texture from this thing. It'll end up feeling kind of natural when it's layered with some other stuff. So what else do we have here? We had some kind of really weird abstract thing happening here. Oh yeah, right. Okay, so we'll take this. Just kind of take a look at where the frequencies are. Right, we know where the last couple were. Or where those other two layers are, right? The source sound and the reverberated sound. And we'll worry about the loop stuff. About this much. So we need to do this pre-fader, because I'm going to take my source signal down. Now, as I did that, you could actually hear the reverberation get bigger. I didn't even touch the reverberation. It's just the removing of the competition of those frequencies. All of a sudden, you can hear with great clarity that ambience that we're generating from that source sound. So that almost inaudible sub-rumble has now turned into kind of the space that other things that we start to throw at this actually kind of dwell in. And if you think about it, that's kind of what's happening when you're in one of those expansive, highly reflective, what we typically think of as like a dark space. Things start to co-mingle together in weird ways, and there's these resonant peaks to things because of the reflective nature of the space, and things just kind of carry and bounce off in weird angles and stuff, and here these things kind of collide in interesting ways. So it's kind of fun just to start all of that early. All right, then we had this really weird hamburger, what is it? Buttered asparagus, mashed potatoes.
And a special treat for them.
Let's turn this one up a bit and see what's hiding in there.
Buttered asparagus, mashed potatoes, and a special treat for them.
Oh, that's pretty heady stuff.
Layer cake filling. We have hamburgers, buttered asparagus, mashed potatoes, and a special treat for them. Chocolate layer cake filling. We have hamburgers,
So now we're cutting out
buttered
a
asparagus,
great deal at the low end on that channel.
mashed potatoes, and a special
And it's
treat
cutting
for
out
them.
so much of the competition.
Chocolate layer cake filling. We have hamburgers,
Wrangling this stuff.
buttered asparagus, mashed potatoes, and a special buttered asparagus, mashed potatoes, and a special treat for them. Chocolate layer cake filling. We have hamburgers, buttered asparagus, mashed potatoes, and a
So even if you're working with like really abstract, heady, highly modulated stuff that's kind of dwelling in the same parts of the frequency spectrum, you can find ways to make those things kind of tuck into each other, and kind of fit into you know, this kind of shared environment and experience together. Now let's go back and find some metallic stuff. That's what I actually went over here for. Maybe we'll get away from these doors for just a second. Touch on metal. Wow, that was very about. Oh, I feel like maybe I should plug in one. This might work. That might work. All right, so something like this we might actually want to just bring into a sampler. So we can really start to kind of tweak the sound at the point of delivery. So let's put this into spectral maybe. You know, I'm actually going to bring this in as just a basic. It's, chain. Let's bring this in as a regular sampler thing. There we go. Now it doesn't have the weird spectral drift thing going on. Alchemy is not the right choice. Let's try that again. I just want something different out of that. Okay, so that's kind of a cool sound. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put a delay onto that and start to put this thing out there a bit more. It's up at like a dotted half or so. Chop out the lowest frequencies and the highest frequencies. A bit more textural in nature. There we go. And we're going to saturate those. They stand out from the original source sounds a bit more.
hamburger, butter salad, mashed potatoes, and a special butter salad, for chocolate layer cake filling. We have hamburger, butter salad, mashed potatoes, and a special treat for chocolate layer cake filling. We have hamburger, butter salad, mashed potatoes, and a special treat for
This is like
chocolate
some.
layer cake filling. We have hamburger, butter salad.
It's probably hypnotizing us, programming us somehow. We're all gonna go out and buy a freaking frozen TV dinner tonight from the 1980s and have no idea why. Oh, yes. All questions are welcome. Absolutely. Fire away. Mm. Yeah, Andromeda, just checking up or catching up on the chat and wondering about the sound ID to fix some hearing issues. That would be pretty interesting. The stuff that you're putting out is good and it's fun and it's unique and whether you hear it the same as we do or not, um, although like incredibly important on one level, also completely inconsequential on another level in a certain way because um, it is what it is. Like the output is what it is, um, and it's good, and it's what we've all come to know and like from you. And yeah, yeah, I still think it's more just about breaking out of getting it in front of the same people all the time. And yeah, I still think that the YouTube route is a really, really good way to do it because you can attract people to your stuff while you're sleeping. You know what I mean? You have all of that content. Like you said, you've released 100 tracks. Um, yeah, that's what I'm saying is you don't have to be there and be present. You can just upload all of that stuff to YouTube and set up a 24/7 streaming station, just like the lo-fi beats and the dark ambient channels and the cinematic soundtracks and the ambient sleep music and all that kind of stuff that people are just listening to 24/7. Um, and I think that people would start tuning into that, and you can then use that as a platform um, to start pushing some other things. I still think that also there's like a really killer podcast here. Um, I think that the Twitch stuff is for the fanatics of the community of Andremia because those are the people that would tune in and watch this stuff being made. But the large majority of Andremia fans waiting to be found out there are the folks that just want to have this on in the background while they're working and cooking and reading and that kind of stuff. That's what I think. So yeah, if you had a live station, then it would come up in everybody's YouTube feed, when they search, and then you just set up really solid keywords for that stream: ambient, cosmic, interstellar, uh, android, sci-fi, um, Kubrick, stuff like that, right? And then you're going to kind of garner the attention of all of these people over time. They're going to see you at the top of their search results all the time because it's a live stream and YouTube pushes live streams. And then eventually people will end up clicking on that because they're at work and they just want to listen to something different or whatever. And yeah, 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 yeah. And yeah, and Reigns Phoenix has a good point. Once you actually have a following like that, then the NFT thing is a real legitimate option because you're making stuff that's really unique and you're making it live. So that creates a value for something that is not there for most music, right? There's the opportunity to see and experience something coming together, and then only a handful of people get that. Like, that they can actually take and listen to anytime or whatever. There are some things that you could really grow um, in really cool, interesting community-based ways once you start building that following. But that following isn't going to come from talking with the same people or sharing with the same people because growth only happens when you break beyond those boundaries, right? And that's the hard part, right? Is getting it in front of more people that are interested. And that's why, when you can put your stuff up in a place and steer people there through keywords, you have so much more control over your destiny. When you're on Twitch, you have like very, very limited keywords that you can use, and they have to be in the system to use them. And these are not words that people normally search, right? So when they're on YouTube, it's very free. Your odds of attracting people increase dramatically. Um, it's a much larger pool of people to draw from. Like I said, this is all content that you've made on live streams. You can bake that into the 24/7 reel on YouTube, right? You can put up little hard notifications that appear like, hey, you can watch this song being made on this Twitch archive or whatever. And then that gets them into this rabbit hole scenario where they really love a track and then they're like, I really do wonder what sounds are in this track and how it was made. So they click through to it. Yo, what up, Alex? Vapor Palms in the chat. Ghost Hack Royalty. Um, Elon Timberlake. mm. No, it's not a matter of people not listening because of the quality of your music. It's they're not listening because they haven't been exposed to it yet. The right people, right? Those who have been exposed to it, some of those people are not going to be the obsessives that want to listen to it like it's a radio station, but there will be a lot of people that do want that. And if you really target people into video games and sci-fi and fantasy, especially like space fantasy, space opera type stuff, right? Like, think about just how many millions of people are fanatical about, a show like Star Wars or The Expanse or Star Trek or something, right? Um, there's just as many people that will get into a channel like that on YouTube. Um, Rains Phoenix says, "Oh, Keys, I believe marketing is everything. Instead of selling, showcasing, just get friends, 100 friends, and build on it. Make funny vids. I watch funny music vids because more than how good they can do a sample or something." Right, right, yeah. Ooh, first question: Fire Dynamic ET77 Pro. That is exactly what I use. I can endorse the 250 ohm. Um, they last forever. They're very dependable. And once you're acclimated to them, I feel it's very easy to um, kind of assess what you're actually hearing, right? And make some good decisions. Yeah, Indremi is an android from somewhere out in space. Oh yeah, yeah, that's a really good point, Alex. The 770s are also really, really comfy. Yeah. Um, so what do you do after you use weird experimental tools to make weird experimental abstract sounds and find a way to like layer them so you can actually hear them like this, right? Well, if it's really good ambient stuff that's going to evolve over time, especially the dark stuff, you can use these things not as um, main components or cornerstones of the track. You could actually use them as kind of these fleeting moments, like these things that come into the mix and then they just never actually come back. Like that kind of droning chant of the I keep forgetting what it is. It's like meatloaf, buttered asparagus, something. I keep forgetting exactly the line that it is. Yeah, this thing. So you could like bring this in and right, it pieces out after like two times through or something. People catch that it's repeating and that it's hypnotic or whatever. Or maybe it's one of those things that actually comes back and resurfaces. And if it's going to be something like that, then that feels like then that there's some kind of a cycle that is synced to some kind of a beat or um, um, we're working in sections or something. So that's when you usually start to hear something a little bit more rhythmic to kind of ground the listener in all of this, to kind of give them orientation with what's repetitive in the generative landscape and what's repetitive in intentional embellishments. And then that's where you build your balance with all of this stuff between those two things. And that's how you get the super super immersive um, effect. So all we need really right now is a way to, we need a thread. Okay? We need like a shoelace, basically, something that can run through the entirety of the thing and be basically ever present, maybe at different volume levels, but it hasn't gone anywhere the entire time. And all of the characters kind of play on top of that and within that shared ambience that you're generating. Like, is it this one? Yeah, this one, where it was just the sub rumble and nothing else. And we're basically just listening to the reverberated channel of that stuff that's been saturated so we can hear eyes. So we would start staggering things, right? And we would also put big curves on things. So here we've got this kind of tonal ambience element that's being added to this whole thing. And we're, at 120, which is probably not like a realistic um, tempo for this. Let's just drop this down to like 80. And we'll even move this out of the way for a bit. We're going to put some fades on here. Man, what is going on? Coming to terms with the fact that I need to update logic this week. See, so you just allow them to kind of slowly come into a position in that mix. So it's like this unobtrusive kind of evolving kind of feeling. It might have been a very abrupt recording, right? You're like, ooh, I like the sound. I'm going to hit record. And you just let it cycle for a bit so you can find one whole loop in there or one whole sweep through the entire, dialogue sequence, for instance, or whatever. And now let's put some synthesis to this. Hmm. Yeah, so Reigns Phoenix is bringing up the point of, dangle some eye candy or something in front of people for the music side of things versus the people that are wanting to actually see those tracks be created, which, they could tune into the Twitch stream for that. But he is, they're right about the fact that creating engagement and interest visually is pretty important these days. Um, your ability to work with graphics, Andremia, really plays to your favor because you could put together a little scene, kind of like the lo-fi beats cafe scenes, right? Those little animated sequences or whatever. Um, you can make those for your YouTube channel. It's like all of these different things that you've built have been culminating to this type of thing. Um, I still see it as like a way forward for you. It takes a little bit of time to put together those assets, but it doesn't take any longer than it's taken you to do uh, any of the other stuff that you've done. And I think that part of your Twitch raid sequence can be used as part of um, uh, like an ad, basically, right? That you could sprinkle into your own music stream because you have complete control over what's being served up on your stream, right? So you can use that, like, once you have some people tuning in, you can basically market to them. Like, hey, did you know that there's Andremia merch? Or hey, did you know that you could actually watch each one of these tracks being created live? And if you're not in the same time zone or you got to be at work or whatever, we've got archives. So there's different ways to engage with this really awesome stuff or whatever. And then your next song starts, um, right? It doesn't have to be for ad dollars on YouTube. It can totally be about growing your thing and it's kind of adoption, right? Getting people to follow and listen and subscribe. And then you can start doing something with them once you've gathered all of them. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Patreon is always a good idea as well. Hmm. Okay, so here's the thing. Here's the thing. And people don't like to hear this. We are obsessive about production. Do not market to those people. If you want to make this a career, do not market to those people. They already know those things. They're not going to stick around. They're not the ones buying your music. They're not the one that's going to sit there and listen to a 24/7 stream. They're just not, right? They work in audio. They're not going to sit there and create spreadsheets and work on corporate presentations while listening to music because they're making that stuff. Like this is where a lot of people start to get frustrated long term with trying to gain opportunities and growth in the industry because they continue to kind of market themselves or pander to the people inside of their bubble. And even if you're crossing a border to get it in front of another sound designer that you've never spoken to before or another music producer that you've never spoken to before, that doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Because I don't want to be deflating or anything, but like, what are they going to do for you? It's so much better for you to get 100 new followers today that work in some corporate tower. You know what I mean? Because they're going to translate to fans, right? Not people that are interested in your workflows, because if they tune in a few more times watching you, they're going to benefit themselves. That's not it. That's not what you want. What you want are people tuning into those how I made this stuff because they're fascinated by the fact that a blender can even lead to a song like this, and they have no idea what your dark arts are, right? They're going to tune in. They're just going to be like, man, I have no idea what this guy even looks like. And he makes really awesome stuff. And there's mystery there, and there's ethos, and there's some backstory and stuff that you've built. And there are countless examples of that kind of stuff being successful basis for really long running projects, very successful projects in our industry. Look at the residents and stuff. Like you've got very famous people hiding behind masks, just doing this tomfoolery kind of stuff and gobble it up. And they would not gobble it up if there wasn't that whole mysterious element to it, right? It's fantasy. You're giving people what they want. Mm. Yeah, Rains, you're throwing out a bunch of really good ideas, and Andremia has. He's tried a lot of these. Um, but yeah, I think yeah, exactly. Tiki's here. What's up, Tiki? How you doing? Fellow producers are jaded and doubtful to become mega fans of others' music. You know who doesn't buy music? People who make music and talk about making music all the time. That's who doesn't buy music, right? And a lot of those people are using things that they didn't pay for to make the music that people aren't listening to. You know what I mean? It's this kind of thing that they're stuck in. So it's not really a healthy it's not really a healthy relationship, right? And to be chasing those relationships over building a true fan base is like chasing a tail. It's just not really ever going to be um, something that plays out well in the long run. So I would really focus. If I were you, man, you've built a bunch of content. Now you use that content to uh, bolster quick adoption, right? And then what do you do after you have quick adoption? Like what happens after you bring a whole bunch of people into your your world, right? You start marketing to them different things, right? And at first, it's just gathering them to listen. And then after that, it's introducing them to the idea that they can watch these things being made. And if they're going to do that, then they would absolutely buy a coffee mug or something. You know what I mean? Like there are some merchandise things that you could do. You could enable ads on YouTube once you've got a whole bunch of regular listeners or whatever, and they will absolutely sit through the ads the same exact way they do on all of the other YouTube stations that they tune into. Um, yeah, creator for consumption. That is a really good way of putting it up. Yeah, yeah. Rain's Phoenix. You know what? There's a lot of non-typical music that ends up rolling through here. You should absolutely check out Andremia's channel because it's full of it. It is full of really awesome stuff, and he absolutely has a signature sound and a way of doing it. Andremia's asking, OhmLab, would you think music-related art would also help? I've considered creating illustrations of music-related things to offer more than just. Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, so Rain's Phoenix, he's actually working, it's kind of in the space between granular and micro sampling. That's what he does. So he takes a source sound and he chops it up into small little bits and then generates with those. So he's kind of creating oscillators out of small bits of audio, and now he's using those little bits to um, make pads and bass and drums and all of that stuff. Yeah, live isn't an option unless it's online for him as well. So there are definitely some boundaries that he's working within. Yeah, and that 30 days, 30 songs in 30 days from Aluminum Foil was awesome. Yeah. All right, so where were we? Oh, yeah, we were going to add some kind of a synth element to this because we need a shoelace, right? We need something that people can follow. And people really love following low end driving timbre stuff, right? So we're talking like pulses and, bass elements that are kind of foldy and um, um, somewhat kind of grimy and lurky. So let's do something like that. Um, oh, and it's already noon. Maybe we'll just open up something. Let's do some massive X. I forgot that this one is like all like sequence stuff. This Mobius library for Mass Effects. This could actually save us a little bit of time today. Let's use some of this stuff. This one's pretty. Let's see what we can get out of this. Well, no, wait, hold on. Let's get a bass first, and then we'll come back to this. So what do we do? This is the bass. Man, I swear, this tool, you could, with just the presets with Mass Effects, you could probably just open up your own freaking club and just make 24/7 music and simply tweak presets. That's cool. Okay, so here's kind of a foldy bass, right? Something that kind of folds over on itself and then changes again. But I have no idea what we're working in. Let's do something minor, right? He sounds kind of nice. Let's do that. I could see like maybe something like that if we were just kind of slow that way down. So maybe what I'll do is I'll record like a quick version of that. Oops. So let's clean that up really quick. And then we're just going to use a little stretch trick to build something bigger. All right, so we don't need that. And I think I hit an F in there. and I shouldn't have. And let's make sure that this first one is actually so it triggers a freaking note. And everything else could be kind of lazy. That's fine with me. Alright, so we can actually speed that up just a little bit more, and then we're just going to stretch this whole thing. Oh boy. Okay, let's see if I could actually make this time. It's been a while since I've done this. Let's listen to this. Okay, so we can actually space this just a little bit. Okay, so that actually should sync. So now if we take this over to bars. Alright, now let's see what happens. That. Start this down. change this more to like 16 bar. Let's actually take this and it's really not a great progression. That doesn't mean we should try to keep leaning into it. Let's just see where it takes us here. In fact, let's also, while we're here, let's try down here. Talking dark, right? There you go. There you go. Right there, Tiki. I'm reminded of this quote I look at each morning. If you want something you've never had before, you have to do something you've never done before. Yeah. You know which one I'm thinking about every day? Like, as I work in all these startups and stuff? It's from Henry Ford. If I had asked the people, they would have asked for a faster horse. Like, it's not just like, let's improve upon something, it's let's get something completely freaking different, right? The other one I look at every single day is right here. Everybody is a genius. But if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it's stupid. And that's Mr. Einstein. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Alex, take care. Oh, nice, Paul. Everything go okay with the booster? Yeah, see, so Tiki is saying I've also released hundreds of songs. I'm just getting caught up on chat here. I've also released hundreds of songs into the world with little traction. It's discouraging, but I keep trying new things, trying not to chase trends, but do my own thing and hope to catch some ears. And that is exactly the kind of stuff that you can put into like royalty-free portfolio, right? Because that's the kind of stuff that can churn in the background. And Dremia, I still think the same for your stuff as well. I would put all of it into a licensing portfolio because sooner or later just a couple of people with the right kind of budget will just grab all of it and use it because there's so much continuity to it, you know. Um, but until you're out there, people don't even know that it's available for that kind of usage. So yeah, and Reigns makes a good point of like, all right, so there's a beat maker XYZ, right? Makes like 75 beats a day, right? There's guys like me that will, knock out like a couple hundred cinematic textures or drones like in a single day, right? Or set up some kind of a generative recording rig and knock out several hundred 8-bit sounds in a day or something like that. And people ask like all the time, like, well, how is anyone supposed to compete with that? And it's like by putting stuff out. For each one of us that's making stuff, there are so many more people needing sounds that have no idea how to make them or have no interest in doing it. Same goes with music. Although we're in a pretty tricky place right now with music, with all of the um, computer generated, AI assisted um, stuff that, like, all of the service based stuff right now in our industry is going to be really interesting to see how it all actually plays out. I really hope that the right kind of creators stay with the responsible AI. Don't put themselves out of business. Yo, what up, Kwame? How you doing? Well, okay, no, let's not get this twisted. Royalty free does not mean free. Hmm. Royalty free has paid bills and sent me around the world for years. It's not. It's a very lucrative space. In fact, this is the single largest growth industry, profit wise and potential wise, anything else out there. It's just that simple. In the modern internet era, that is where the money is, because stock media is how most things will be made moving forward. It really is a true renaissance moment, but until people actually start believing those things and putting themselves out there, they will not get any of the rewards. I started in earnest putting all of my effort into all of that stuff years and years ago, 20, 15 years ago, um, and launching OhmLab and pushing ADSR and all of the mentorship stuff, and like all of it is just about that. It's all about the royalty free space. It's because we have to move beyond the idea that America and the UK are in charge of how people can use stuff and is where good stuff comes from, because it's like the small majority of the world, really. So anything stock is going to reign supreme in the end, because all of the multitudes of toys and tools that we have now to flip stock material in different ways. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yeah, me too, Rains. I love weird stuff. Ah, Kwame. We've been pretty chill. Art list is growing like mad. Tiki, it's if you don't have stuff else, or okay, someone like you, if you don't have stuff up elsewhere and you've got 100 or more things, then yeah, moving into something like that is going to be good, because it's the gateway experience for you. You'll figure out the value of your stuff kind of within a landscape, like within an ecosystem, and then compare it to what you find elsewhere. As soon as you get your stuff in one place, start looking at another, right? Um, Nothing's exclusive these days. So that same exact content can be taken to another place. That's the thing that you've got to unlock, is just the drive to push your stuff into the next channel, because it's going to be a whole nother group of people in the world that you have not put your stuff in front of yet. And when you can step into a new marketplace or library with like 100+ items, then it's worthy of people's attention, and they have a lot of stuff to audition from you, and they get a really good sense very quickly of what you're capable of. Will get a bunch of followers quickly, when you've got a big like content dump, like, for what it's worth. Igor, Igor will come by and collect the money. Zev, I think you were knocking on the door of Envato as they were basically closing the door for everyone at that point. I think that's what really happened. Uh, Rains, number one, I didn't know that you were in Australia, and number two, awesome. 30 seconds from Australia. They're a good group of people. The Envato crew. I've met up with them in a few different locations around the world, actually. Yeah, and that's just it. So Tiki, so Tiki's making a really good point. Artlist and Vado, et cetera, are super flooded with submissions. So what you do then is you go to another marketplace that is just coming online, and I'll tell you what, you might have like four or five of them that are all just coming online, and they might all seem kind of super sketchy. The the early days of a marketplace do feel super sketchy because things haven't really been figured out yet. But those people are launching a business and they are passionate about building it, right? And the only way that they can build it is to get really good content in that can continue to come in so they can build some kind of consistency for their customer base, right? So if you can find one of these ground floor opportunities, which are happening all the time in this space, like I said, it's the fastest growing space, right? So all you need to do is find a handful of them and just drop all of your stuff into each one of them, and you will become an established kind of cornerstone member um, of a creator community that way. Because you have a legitimate amount of content with value, and it shows consistency in delivery and output and all this stuff, and that's what people believe. So yeah, no feedback today, Zeph, because I don't want to put my clogged up ears on anybody's stuff and give them bad advice. I'm still so full of snot. I have a voice again though, and I feel like I'm talking kind of at normal speed. I felt like yesterday I was talking in mud. Everything felt kind of slow. Nano, don't do anything I wouldn't do twice. Yeah, no. So Andremia, this is exactly the mindset that you've got to ditch. Don't think that doing this on your own website or something is better because it's not. You have no access to the people that are paying for all of this stuff. You have to go somewhere where those people are going, and you can never compete with those bigger marketplaces in regards to attracting people. It is the truth of the matter. Do not do it. Do not do it. Also, a small operation like a person putting together licenses to sell on their site um, is just going to be a really bad experience for both people. The large majority of people using your stuff will not use it properly, and you will feel taken advantage of. And if you chase those people down, then you earn a reputation of being kind of a mean creator, and people won't use your stuff. So just don't even do it. Just don't even do it. Dirty little secret of the industry. A lot of those places, those royalty free marketplaces, don't even police the usage of things, right? Yeah. So for what that's worth, don't do all the lifting yourself, and do lean into the. It takes a lot of work and money to build a marketplace that actually can draw people in and deliver a consistent output of goods to them. It takes a lot of work. And you really are just kind of plugging into that when you go to one of these marketplaces. And when you find one, it's just the first one. So you're just going to go and put your stuff into more. Mm-hmm. Yep, there's some A&R around Twitch for sure, and Facebook groups. There's lots of A&R in the in all the groups where all you see is just nonstop link posting. Gets pretty noisy. A lot of that's just going away. A lot of it's just going away because of the marketplaces. It's it's almost better just to put your stuff into a stock bucket somewhere and just keep producing. And you guys are already doing it. You know, the ones that are talking about like, I wish I could, I want to, it hasn't happened, I've done over 100 times or whatever. Like you've already done the work. Those things should be earning passive income for you at this point. Back to this. Now we're going to take that thread, right? We're going to take that shoelace, the one element that runs contiguously throughout the entire mix. We're going to take that and we're going to start kind of smearing it and stuff. Let's do short form delay thing. It makes it feel way more unstable. By a little too much. Yeah, and Dremy is really only interested in making music for people to listen to. He's not there to serve producers, and he really shouldn't be. He needs to figure out a way to survive from this stuff. He's got a pretty unique situation. I think the key is YouTube, dude, and putting your stuff up into licensing marketplaces. And if you were to do that, you would be infiltrating two different places where gobs and gobs of people are coming, and you can steer them toward you through really good written descriptions and keywords, right? That's the next step for you. You've got your audio, you've got all of your graphics, you've got the backstory, you've got all of this stuff. You've got a brand, and you've got all of that developed really well. Now figure out the text part of it, right? The keywords, because it's all about optimizing for search. That's really what it is. So whether you put stuff up onto YouTube to be seen or into a royalty-free marketplace, you're going to use each one of those locations to target a very specific kind of audience, right? Or each post will be trying to specifically target specific audience, right? You're going to cater to yourself. You're going to cater to your signature sound, your brand, right? And you're going to dangle it in front of people looking for very specific types of things and fall into very specific categories. Uh, Jeremy is saying, would you say image is an issue for me, OhmLab? I've considered investing considerable time into something more interesting. Right? I'm worried as the current return on investment. Gladly put more time into something that shows response and growth. No, no, no. That's the kind of stuff that you can do later. Literally, like seriously, I know I keep beating the same drum, but you've already created the content. You've got to put the content somewhere. The best place to put it is a place where you can plug it into something that's already existing. A 24/7 Andremia channel, just like a lo-fi beats channel or a binaural beats channel or whatever, it would do well. Especially if you're really focused with your keywords and you're really consistent in updating. And then the other thing that's going to work well is if you put yourself into marketplaces that are, or if you approach like a licensing house that really focuses on sci-fi, animation, fantasy, that type of stuff, space-centric type stuff would do well for you. But I think that your signature sound is worthy of the YouTube channel, because there would not be another destination like it. Well, yeah, but you know, our job isn't to like everything, Reigns, right? Like you're not supposed to like everything. So even if someone made something that looked really nice and then you listen to it and you're still not into it, like there was no point. You know what I mean? Like it's still going to be the same percentage of people at the end of every single day that are into your stuff. Your job is just to put it out there and let the law of averages work itself out, right? And if you've got hundreds of pieces of hundreds of pieces of content that you've already produced, then that law of averages is already working in your favor if your stuff is out in front of people. But it's got to be in a place where the people are, right? Keeping it on Twitch won't work. Keeping it on Facebook won't work. Keeping it on Instagram won't work. You got to put it into a place where people are going that you don't know. And it's got to be happening at a time when you're sleeping. You know what I mean? When you're offline, when you're not actually making that stuff. Those are fans, not producers. Yeah. Oh, yeah. There is a place for everyone. Let's make this a bit more long in the tooth. Back here. Let's get our decay out a lot more. What does this sound like really low? Yeah, it's probably too low. I'm just not a fan of these waveforms, so let's change that really quick. Those chains, that's what they sound like sine wave perks. That's the chains. Oops. Shall we bring back in our really weird dialogue thing too? Is this still our capture track? Let's move that. Add in. Just to have some weird hypnotic stuff in there for a bit. Get that back out before that loop is there.
Chocolate layer cake filled. We have hamburgers, ready to salad, mashed potatoes, and a special treat for them. Chocolate layer cake filled. We have hamburgers, ready to salad, mashed potatoes.
Oh my gosh, it's so random. Love it. It's the Santa Claus Conquers the Martians dialogue samples in there. Some pretty weird stuff in there. This one's pretty wild. Let's make it a little more wild. This will be much at first. That's dark. That's dark. Yo, what up, drag queen? How you doing? Happy hump day to you. Yeah, Indremia, I still think it's the way forward for you because it's zero lift for you. All you have to do is get it set up, and then you hit go, and you just walk away. And you can set up multiples. Okay, so if you want a really good example of how you might set up like multiples like this, some of them can be live, and some of them can just be big sets, right? So you put together like maybe 10 songs per set and give it some kind of a theme, right? So now what you're doing is you're building the same content into different playlists, right? That people can kind of favorite, like they'll find their favorite combinations of things. And then you can also have at least one live 24/7 stream, right? Um, and once you get the hang of this, you'll start to figure this out, dude. You're going to figure this out. You're going to realize that, oh man, if I just put like 5 of my tracks back to back inside of Ableton and wash it out in a really massive hall reverb, I've also got a generative ambient channel too, right? And you're going to start like unlocking the simplicity of all of this because you've generated so much content. You want to know why people are spending billions of dollars acquiring these different sound companies right now? Just because they have sounds, because of the content. It takes time to make the content. And then the content is gold. Once you figure out how to actually use that content, it's gold. So you already made the gold. You just have to figure out how to get the gold out, right? This is it. That's it. Yeah, no, so Reigns, he already has visuals and he has like hundreds of hours of stuff, if I'm not mistaken, right? Like you've got a lot of stuff, right, Andromeda? You're like me, you've got hard drives, right? Yeah. I'm pretty sure that if you start to build this, they will come. That part of what Reigns is saying right now is true. This whole if you build it, they will come kind of mentality just will not work on the typical social platforms or on Twitch for the most part. Most people. It just will not. So what you need is real fans, listening fans. And those are different folks. Different folks. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Reigns, there's so much good stuff. So much good stuff like that here on Twitch. I love it. And when I go into these channels, there's like 69 people or 88 people or 112 people or something like that, right? And you're right. It's like small and it's stunning. When you think about it though, when you go to a show like that, um, there's more people milling around in various Starbucks around town than there are at that show. You know what I mean? It's a pretty niche thing. Um, so yeah, all you got to do is build the venue, and that's it. You've already got all of the tunes. Got it. Yeah, that right there, that is what you do after you have this set up in Dremia. That's what you do. You can just kind of take a break from worrying about the normal production stuff and you can experiment with stuff like that. And you can start to sprinkle it into things, right? And see how people are reacting. Your stuff would be perfect for a beta channel, right? Where you've got like a beta playlist of here's some experimental stuff that I'm working on, different ways in which I can deliver this content to you guys, right? Um, and yeah, like reactive, generative, visual stuff is always going to be ace, 100%. Yeah, dude. So, this whole thing is just way too like melodic for me. I feel like I want to roll off even more of the highs on that pace.
Special treat for the chocolate layer cake pills. You have hamburgers, butter asparagus, mashed potatoes, and a special treat for the chocolate layer cake pills. You have hamburgers, butter
That dialogue sample is just absolutely killing me. It's hilarious. Looked at a basic metaphysical earlier. Something similar. We're gonna not do dialogue sample this time. Let's go out all of these. Those I am sure. Totally fine with that. Ooh, something totally different. Let's do. How many are in here? This is 7. All right, then let's just take these. These are really random things. Um, so let's just grab top. All right, so we've got a full array of sounds here. And again, I'm just going to click on one of these, select all, go to waveform, click loop for critical. All right, and then we're going to fire this thing up and see what our samples are going to be spitting out the other side for us. Searching for a fun sample here. The reactor is awesome, isn't it?
special treat for them. Chocolate layer cake filled. We have hamburger, buttered asparagus, mashed potatoes, and a special treat.
One of the nicest things about the ambient type stuff is that you can use something like this, like rhythmic element here. It's not have to be synced to anything real. Quite liberating. And that one little percussive element ties this whole thing together. It actually sounds like something that's still really funny.
Mashed potatoes, and a special treat for them. Chocolate layer cake filled. We have hamburger, buttered asparagus, mashed potatoes.
There's some weird stuff happening here. Weird stuff, I tell you. What if we toss a texture right on top of this whole thing? Just grab some of the stuff that I was knocking out last week. Let's cut this out for a sec. Yeah, like this would probably be good right over the top of that. This would also be good right over the top of that. Same with this. Any of these, really. This one. This one's got a feel to it, huh?
Special treat for them. Chocolate layer cake filled. We have hamburger, buttered asparagus, mashed potatoes, and a special treat for them. Chocolate layer cake filled. We have hamburger, buttered asparagus.
Just going through and adding curves to all of this automation, so it starts to sound a little bit more organic. Siding salesman. They're still around. I think those people are called parents, Paul. I think those are the people you're looking for. Not really digging this rain kind of one, right? Don't erase. I'll use that automation. That's pretty cool. Maybe we'll just do this super simple. Still borrowing that automation we had there earlier. Let's bring this little trim down here. And then let's solo that. And we'll just cream it really quick. So let's do like an outside kind of never-ending thing. Huh? Get rid of all the low frequencies in there. Not needed. Brutal. This thing will dissolve at the end. To bring that whole channel down here. Mashed potatoes. Who doesn't like a mashed potato? I got this going. Can I borrow a parent? Sounds profitable. Can someone loan this android a parent, please? Preferably a father. Fathers are usually quick to say, I'll give you $20 if you stop playing those drums. When are you going to grow up and get a sales job? Oh yeah, where's my hoo-cha-cha? There it is. There's my hoo-cha-cha. I thought I was missing it. There's our percussive bit. Money. Take out all the lows on this channel. And on this one. Sweet, we just reclaimed our low end again. See, all that really stretched out audio and stuff, and we're still just kind of barely licking those low sub frequencies there. It's pretty ideal. Like it. Paul. Chocolate layer cake. Quick reminder that if you are currently subscribed to the channel, get a free sound pack every month. And if you go hit the Discord, the free sound pack this month is gold, which is sequenced trinket sounds. So layered Foley toppers, some funky stuff. Whatever you're inspired to make with those, submit them in our monthly challenge, and you'll win another free sound pack just for playing along. Then came the trumpet. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And the whole neighborhood is involved. I wonder who's up in stream. Let's see. Yo, Nate! What's up, homie? How was your stream there? I was actually about to take these guys and take them somewhere. I've been having a chill stream today, dude. Healing my body from back-to-back sickness. Did not have a stream the other day. No voice. So today we are I'm just making some weird, totally abstract Dark Ambient. Talking with people, some real talk about making some money and surviving in this industry. Yeah, I was not live on Monday. You have a good stream, dude? Oh man, Paul. The top of your tower was hearing horns every day. That's awesome. Awesome. Cozy, acoustic, woodsy, banjo, marimba style music. Nice, dude. New game coming along well, I'm assuming. Doing spooky chiptune on Monday. Nice, man. Very cool. Banjo. Okay, now that makes more sense. I was going to look up Danjoy. Oh, man. All right, so tell me, folks. Tell me. Who's streaming right now that y'all love? Here's who I see. I see Autopilot, Deadmau, Oyasumi Uni, Hopeful Cases, Orchestereo. Let's go visit someone. Wonder what these folks are all working on today. Let's continue to help Orchestereo grow. He's been doing some really solid stuff. As always, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for hanging out with me. Feedback Friday coming up in just a couple of days. Get your stuff into the queue early so you get heard. Heading to the coast this week, so we got a hard stop at 1 o'clock on Friday. So I will see you guys there. And thanks for hanging with me today and just listening to me make noise. Appreciate you. Peace out, y'all. Big love.
Welcome in, Raiders. I'll be with you as I'm done recording this take. Make yourself cozy.